Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 20th edition of the Jericho Selectboard. In order to make our meetings more efficient, we're limiting public comment at the beginning of the meeting, the public to be heard section. We will allow discussion on the TMRI meeting schedule topic tonight, but otherwise all other public comment should be contained to the public to be heard section at the beginning of the meeting. Select board meetings are in the public, not of the public. Please do not use the chat on Zoom for anything other than technical issues, and please be respectful. Please keep public comments to 3 minutes or less.
Recording in progress.
All right. I'm joining because later on I gotta show the list of TMRI topics. So
Okay,
just share my screen.
no problem. Is there any public to be heard? Online or in the room? Chuck? Hi, Chuck.
So on your list is revising impact fees. And I want to maybe nudge you on that by offering a suggestion. The current impact fees for a single family home are $2,500, regardless of the size of the house. And for each unit in a multifamily unit, it's $1,667, regardless of the size. So it's a pretty regressive, fee. If you look here, I've got various housing types and what the cost per square foot is. So on a 400 square foot tiny house, the impact fee is $6.25 a square foot. For a 1,000 square foot home, that will be Lafayette Drive, Sunnyview, is $2.50 a square foot. For a 2,400 square foot home, which is kind of typical of what gets built these days, it's Tilton Drive, foothills, it's $1.04. And then for some of the houses that are more common now, the 3,500 square foot home, it's 71 cents per square foot. So like the development above Mills River Park, those houses average 3,500, and the Carter's Way and Twin Meadows all average 3,500 square feet. Going down further, for a 500 square foot studio apartment, it's $3.33. You kind of get the idea. So my suggestion here, and which is sort of the second little point right here, is that we have no charge of an impact fee for dwellings less than 1,200 square feet. And which isn't going to cost us anything because we don't build any smaller than 1,200 square feet.
Right.
And we don't charge for ADUs right now. And $2.04 per square foot for everything above 1,200. So if you do the arithmetic, the charge for a 1,200 square foot home would not change. So if you look right here, it's $1.04, $1.04, before and after. So nothing up to 1,200, then $2.04 a square foot would be the point at which I estimate it would be a wash in terms of the amount.
Is that how you chose the $2.04 number?
Yeah, I kind of work back that way. So anyway, there's the planning commission stayed quite a long time on their list, and this is on your list. So you have done the permitting. The second thing to take a look at is, and this doesn't have to be right now, is, and Paul and I looked for an ordinance on the current one, so we could not find it. So I'm not sure it's legal. But by state law, you can establish an impact fee for a particular area or for a particular project and dedicate those funds to that project. And so you can say, okay, in this, so for example, you can say Riverside, we're going to collect this much per house, and ultimately there's going to be 250 dwellings using the wastewater, and this one, this dwelling of 50 units is going to use 20% of it. So your impact fees You
reflect.
kind of get what I'm saying. It's all kind of proportional, but there's an opportunity there. And Williston's doing it, you know, Shelburne's doing it, you know, all the other towns are doing it. But right now, the impact fees are, you know, they're quite aggressive, you know, unnecessarily so. For example, if we're looking at an eight dwelling, little small cluster, you know, there'll be a savings of 20 grand, which is kind of meaningful. And it's kind of ridiculous that a 400 square foot tiny home and a 3,500 square foot home are charged the same tax fee. So I'm hoping that will put you guys in motion.
Quick question, is there a reason for this space in the list? These two different groups, or is this just?
It's the second group is multifamily.
Gotcha.
So a studio apartment would be in an apartment building,
Yeah, okay.
a 2-bedroom. The 2,400 square foot duplex, that would be one unit in a duplex. That's what Black Walnut is. So Black Walnuts are 4,800 square feet, each side is 2,400.
Gotcha. But you're not, but the 204 after 1,200, you're just showing how it will play out in different scenarios in that.
Under my proposal.
Yeah.
I started out with the idea that let's make this a wash.
Yeah.
You could, you know, you did raise the permit fees and you may decide to raise the.
Yeah.
But I do think that it should be on a more of a progressive basis. Than it currently is.
So,
Thank you.
Paula, did you say we needed to, like,
Yes. We need-
I should have done that first.
Yep, we need to move appointing Meredith Bartolo to the end of the agenda because she has a conflict, so she'll be joining late. So if we can put her to the end of maybe after approved liquor license or even before that, that would be great.
Any opposition? Oh, she actually just joined.
Oh, she did?
Or she's waiting to be admitted. You wanna just
Yeah.
can that?
I'd like to vote no on that motion.
Yeah.
Hi Meredith, are you able to join real quick to get appointed?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. So we were just getting ready to move you to the end of the agenda, but you came on, so.
Specific about the praise.
Yeah,
and,
sorry. I'm
you know,
in another meeting too at the same time.
Oh,
Same
we
time,
can-
double
we can-
meetings going on right now.
We can still move you if that's easier.
Yeah, we can do it later.
Oh, yeah, that might be great.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll move you to after approval of the liquor licenses, which is always a exciting time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Meredith.
So next on the agenda is to appoint, I'm gonna butcher this name. Is it Tony?
Likhike.
Okay. Okay. Like how I
Spelled it
did.
wrong
I
anyway.
spelled it wrong.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I'll take a case then.
Likhike?
How you spell it?
Likhite. So
H-I-T.
just like it's.
Oh, like Hitty.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That's,
It's okay.
come on now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Come on up. So it says here that you would like to be appointed to the bike Ped Connectivity meeting, term expiring in 2027. Why don't you tell us a little bit start by telling us a little bit about your interests, what makes you want to be on that committee, and then we might have a few questions for you.
Sure. Well, I got a COVID dog and she liked to walk a great deal more than I used to. And so now I'm probably going 20 miles or so a week, just wandering around Jericho. The town forest is a particular favorite because there's a lovely creek in there. And so we are possibly the greatest contributors of dog hair to that. I cycle a great deal and I don't know, I have thoughts on how that might be a safer option in Jericho. But especially on something like race, I understand that there's a lot of competition with vehicles and I can see how it would be hard to make everyone happy there. But I have now mostly retired. I have time on my hands. I will try to see if I can help.
Cool.
This is some of it.
Do you guys have any questions?
Not really, just sound like a perfect, I'm excited you want to do that. Excited you want to put some time into the town and promoting that stuff.
I'm happy to try. I understand that it will move much more slowly than I would like.
But
Well, yeah, so I did write down one question. I think we as a select board are gonna need to be asking a little bit more out of the committee than we have. For example, we're overdue on updating our road specifications. And Chris Brown isn't here tonight.
Yeah.
It isn't here tonight, but he's been really pushing about making sure that the Bike Ped Committee is involved and driving some of that. I don't know how normal that is, but I wanted to at least speak as, one of his concerns, just since he couldn't be here tonight. So my question is, what's your bandwidth like if we start pushing more work towards that committee, I guess, to be blunt?
I have a lot of free time on my hands.
Okay.
I hadn't expected it to be so hard to fill that, but I've had to acquire silly hobbies. I'd love to spend that time doing something productive, like actually productive.
Okay. That's great.
it's great, yeah, when I ran for the select board, like, and was talking to folks around town, like walkable, bikeable spaces was like one of the big things people are like, here's what I want the town to be doing. So I think that would be great if you have time and are energized. I would encourage you to gently and appropriately be like, hey guys, like I have time to do some stuff. Let's move these projects forward. Or what can we be doing? And I'm not saying Bike Ped is like not doing anything, but Cody, the chair, is very blunt, very clear. Like I am limited in what I can do based on my time. But I think that he is a great person and super smart and super motivated. And if you have time to do stuff, and that would be amazing. I'm not saying like, oh, you'll take charge of the whole thing, but just saying it's great that you have time and are interested.
Okay, I would love to try.
Great.
And then another thing is like traffic calming. Bernie's going to speak next about some traffic calming stuff, and we really want input from that group on that type of thing when we make those decisions. So it's just an example.
Speed bumps on Route 15.
Yeah. Luckily, that is out of our jurisdiction. Yeah. That's all the only questions I had.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to appoint Tony Likhike to the Jericho Bike and Ped Connectivity Committee with a term expiring in 2027.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you so much.
Welcome to the committee.
If you have a minute, you may want to hang and listen to Bernie's thing.
Curious about the next thing.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
Next on the agenda is a discussion on some low-cost next steps for Brown's Trace safety with Mr. Bernie Paquette. Bernie.
Hi, my name is Bernie Paquette from Brown's Trace, Jericho. I want to suggest a straightforward next steps for Brown's Trace safety that does not commit the town to a particular design or expenditure. That is to ask VTrans to help us move Brown's Trace traffic calming work from recommendations to an engineered, implementable project. CCRPC, the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission, has already done the important first step. Its speed study and traffic calming analysis examined Brown's Trace and provided recommendations to the town. Jericho could now ask VTrans to review that work and help determine how the recommended measures could actually be designed and implemented. This is a relatively low cost, low risk request for the town. We would not be asking the select board to approve any particular treatment. We would be asking VTrans to apply its transportation engineering expertise and advise us on which approaches are technically appropriate for Brown's Trace. So a VTrans review could help answer some practical questions. For example, which of CCRPC's recommendations are feasible on a Class 2 town highway? What combination of measures would be the most effective at reducing vehicle speeds? What designs meet applicable state, federal accessibility, emergency response, and winter maintenance requirements? What would the improvements roughly cost? What could be done incrementally? And perhaps in today's environment, as important as the above, are there state or federal programs that could help pay for them? This approach would also give the town something valuable, even if the ultimate decision is to do less, do something different, or proceed gradually. A professional assessment of the options and a clearer understanding of cost and funding. Brown's Trace is an important Class 2 road, but it is also a road used by people walking, bicycling, crossing the street, accessing homes and businesses, and participating in community life. Finding the right balance between those uses and through traffic deserves an engineering solution rather than an ongoing debate about individual traffic calming devices. I'm asking the Select Board to consider this request, and if the board agrees, to formally transmit it to VTrans for technical assistance. There's no commitment to a construction and no predetermined solution. Just a request to take the next logical step using the work that has already been done. I provided you with recommended specifics in the attachments that you all should have to ask VTrans under the following categories. Again, specific details that underneath these following categories. One is reviewing the existing CCRPC report. Two is evaluating engineering feasibility. Three is developing a coordinated corridor concept. Next is identifying a path to implementation. And finally, identifying potential funding. The request is for VTrans to apply its engineering expertise and determine what treatments are appropriate for Brown's Trace. I'm asking the Jericho Select Board to transmit this request to the Vermont Agency of Transportation formally and to request its assistance in advancing the existing Brown's Trace traffic calming recommendations toward an engineered, implementable project. Sorry, I have trouble with that word, I guess. Thank you for your attention and consideration.
Thanks, Bernie.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Got a couple questions, Bernie, just for my own clarity. The CCRPC study you're talking about, is that from a couple of years ago with the speed information?
Right, and in the attachment, the attachment that I sent you has the link to that report.
Yeah. Okay. And my other question was, and maybe I should know this, but what came of the meeting, the sort of on-site meeting with you and Jack? I assume we meet it, but Jack and maybe Eric and some folks at Jacob in the center at Jericho Center to talk about possibilities.
If you're referring to that planned meeting was discussed at a past Select Board meeting, I believe, a month or two back. Although I had offered to participate, I hadn't heard anybody, and I checked with Jack, and he had been out. My memory's a little vague on his specific note response, but I believe he said something to the tune of that he had been out on another project or vacation or something. It sounded to me like it had not occurred, but he, again, don't quote me, but I believe he said, or I recall him saying that he concurred or said something along the lines that VTrans intertwined into this process, specifically because it's a Class 2 road, was a need. But that's as far as I've heard about the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Bernie.
Paula did meet with them, right?
Yes, myself, Jack and Jacob met when we met with I'm forgetting her name, the store owner. Valerie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and Jack had, he's gonna get back to
coming back,
us,
yeah.
and so I can reach out to him and see if he's, has any recommendations.
Okay.
Um. Overall, I have no problem asking V-Trans. Is that a normal thing? Is there
That's
precedent
not
for that?
They gotta say like, no, that's on our road, you guys deal with it, like, do they give us a grant? or-
Yeah, I don't really know how that will work, but I can certainly contact them and find out.
And Jack might actually, if you're gonna reach out to Jack and work a motion, he might know, they say, oh yeah, that happens all the time, here's the form you fill out, and they come right out and.
Right, right,
They might
right,
say like,
yep.
never heard of that before.
Yep, yep.
But the plan, as we left it last time, was that Jack was gonna make some recommendation. So that seems to me was thing to wait for.
The first step,
right now,
yeah, I agree.
Okay,
But maybe when you reach out to him, you can just mention this request to him, just say, is that something we should also do? Or are you gonna know what they're gonna say? Or, yeah, maybe just find that out.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Bernie. So Paula will follow up with next steps on that, and get back to the select board. One way or another, I suppose.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is something Peter wanted on there, and I think it may be altered a little bit, but just, there was some initial, thoughts about considering
Oh.
adjusting our property tax late payment policy for the first installment. But why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so that was an idea that Brian Stevens and E and I all ended up coincidentally at the Davis Farm lunchtime thing that the Food Hub put on. And Brian Stevens brought up the idea of, well, what if we, in his Brian Stevens way, like, maybe we should think about possibility of the idea being that if you, that the increase in your taxes could be paid later without a penalty. Pay the amount that you were expecting to pay, and that has to be on time. But that the extra part that surprised a lot of people, that could be held off, that can be paid later without a penalty. And then in talking to Amy and Brian later on, it became clear it was gonna be really way too complex to implement. And we weren't sure how many people actually would use it, like how will we communicate it? Taxes are due in 3 weeks, and how will we tell people about it? And would it become a political thing for other towns? Like, why doesn't Richmond get it for their school taxes? And so it felt too complex and not necessarily impactful enough to move forward with. But I have sort of, so for the past year, I've been sort of trying to educate myself about all of our budgets. And I went to the meeting, I think we were all there, the meeting at Browns River, about the school tax increase specifically. And coming out of that, I did some work collecting data around tax bills around town to see sort of how we stacked up. And I wanted to just share that. Can I share my screen on Zoom?
Yep, you
This
should
will
be all
like
set.
3 minutes. I don't really know how to share my screen.
Big green button.
I'm not, oh, wait, oh, there we go. Okay. Look at that, okay. So the very short version is that this is information that the state collects and puts out annually of different tax rates. And so this is all just taken from the state website and focused around Jericho. So these are all the towns in Chittenden County. And each highlighted column is a different tax. So this is a homestead tax rate, so tax rates for residents, the non-homestead tax rate, which is everything except for your first 2 acres in your house. The municipal tax rate, and then the combining, just adding them all together, tax rate. And again, this is last year, not this year. And these were all really low. We were the second lowest in homestead and non-homestead, which is the school stuff. We were 5th from the bottom. in municipal taxes, and then combined taxes were third from the bottom in tax rate. And this effective tax rate means that at these tax rates here, if you had a house that was worth $500,000 in Jericho, if you bought a house that cost you $500,000, no matter where you bought it, this tax rate would apply to that amount of money. So for example, Burlington right now is super behind on their appraisal. So like a house worth $500,000, right? There was a house you could buy today for $500,000 in Burlington. The appraised value right now for the town is like $250,000. So they're way out of whack. But this data from the state equalizes all that and adjusts the rate so that any house in any town would pay the same amount of tax. This tax rate adjusts for the reappraisals. That data doesn't exist for this year, but I spent a bunch of time emailing and on the phone with two people from the tax department, and basically built this same information as the state has for last year. I built it for this year, and then this is all in one spreadsheet. But we've got sort of, from our perspective, the things that we control, the municipal tax rate. So you can sort these all. So sorting this ascending. And in terms of municipal taxes, we are 6th out of 18, where last year for municipal, we were 2nd out of 18. And for combined tax rates, which is the school tax rate and the town tax rate, I think it's actually the exact same. Yeah, so everyone moves, but we still, so some jump over our line and below and above our line, but we are still 6th. So last year, our combined tax rate was 3rd from the bottom, and now we are 6th from the bottom. And so these numbers here are the tax rate for a house that is actually worth $500,000. So what I did was I took, because I built all of this and I was a little bit worried about messing it up. So after I built this, I took and put my house in here, which my house is worth $565,000. I put that in here and it came out to a couple pennies off of my actual tax bill. So I'm confident in these numbers. But like a $500,000 house in Jericho is paying $7,300 in taxes, and that same house, any other house worth $500,000 in Winooski is paying $9,500 for their annual tax bill. So people are upset about their taxes right now, as am I. Like my tax bill went up by, I think, $1,300. But part of that, I just wanted to give perspective that we are nowhere near carrying the heaviest tax burden in Chittenden County. And the issue isn't that our taxes are high, although we all, myself included, feel that. The issue is that our taxes have been low and we took a big jump this year. So I just wanted to kind of show folks that information. And if anybody is listening online or was watching this on YouTube or whatever, I'm happy to sit down and talk with folks about this spreadsheet and this data, and sort of what the tax burden is for our town. And Edie, I've been talking to Edie Granning, one of our legislators, about it, and she's done a ton of work. She's working really, really hard to understand the tax bill, the ed tax bill, and like exactly where it comes from. And what she's, I don't want to speak for her, but I'll relay this. What she's most interested in is how much did this capping of the CLA at 100%, how much did that actually hurt us? How much of our increase is because of that, and how much of it is because of spending, and how much of it is because of something else? So that's what I wanted to kind of share that information.
Really impressive. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, sure. Yep. Yeah. I meant the tax bill situation. Like, I wouldn't call it impressive, but thank you. So I'm going to unshare that. No, there's no questions, right?
I mean, I think there's perhaps some comfort for people to understand that Jericho actually isn't incredibly high comparatively speaking.
That said,
it's not a big
perception of reality.
And it's also not a big sell in that the problem is Vermont taxes are so out of whack.
Yeah.
so high
I can't-
compared to other states.
I can't say, I don't know
Yeah.
that that's true, but that's my perception for,
Yeah.
like, I don't, like, that was a big thing for me. I was like, oh, wow, I bet our taxes are, like, I've been thinking about the wastewater, like, how are we gonna fund this wastewater? We're taxing our town to death. We can't do this. And then I was like, oh, wait, I mean, and I'm not like, let's go spend lots of money, because we're not spending enough now, but it just gave me perspective, and I don't know how Vermont stacks up. I mean, I've heard that Vermont is one of the heaviest tax states in the country, but I haven't looked at that. Okay. That's all I got.
Thank you.
How do I unshare? Can you kick me out? Can you just oh wait, there we go, stop sharing, sorry.
Okay, next on the agenda is review and consider approval of the technology use, email, social media, and information security policy.
Printed one.
I think it may be appropriate to. I'm sure the town is, people that are following along might be sick of us kicking this one down the road, but I think it's important to get right. And I also think it might be best to do when we have the full board here. That said, would you care to hear a couple comments that I have?
Yes.
Questions?
I would.
I'd like to understand, and I could have done this myself, and there's no reason that I couldn't, that I didn't. I just wish that I had done a little research to understand if there's precedence for other towns requiring elected officials to use a town email address. Do we know that?
We don't.
Okay, so I'd like to understand that. I understand that it's been reviewed by Claudine. There's just something that feels weird about forcing people who are elected by the people to, I don't know. Maybe it's fine just from a legal standpoint. I'm curious about that. And I can do some of that research. I'm not pushing it on you, who's done a good job of, coming up with this.
Has anyone talked to VLCT about that, or about?
No, all these things are things I could have done and didn't. But
Laura and Paul, neither of you have that comment.
Template from VLCT, we've had templates from other towns. Yep.
did the
I didn't-
template include the
I didn't.
elected
I didn't
officials?
pick up on that.
Okay,
No, did I?
okay.
But
I mean, like, you didn't
certainly
notice,
use-
you didn't, when we were looking
Yeah.
at the town. You didn't.
I can certainly ask other towns.
Yeah, okay.
Is that the sticking point, is elected officials?
I have 4
Okay.
sticking points.
Okay.
So if we did that, we passed this thing. I agree. I switch over and I use a town email. And it's stated pretty clearly in this policy that we're considering. So I don't have any right to any of the emails that I received as an elected official after I leave. So let's say I get voted out. Let's say I run again. Let's say someone runs against me and they vote me out. I had been in this scenario. Let's say I had this the whole time. I have no rights to any of that information that was emailed to me.
What do you mean rights? Like
I would lose it. I would lose it.
Can you look at an email from?
Right, so like 5 years down the road, I'm not in town politics and whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember somebody emailed me about, like, I have no ability to get that. I guess I could do a FOIA, I guess, but like.
Or you could go through and.
Forward the ones I shared, yeah. But does that seem a little weird?
No, to me, it's like a job. Like when I leave my job.
Totally agree for a job or an employee, completely.
And
For an employee, but as somebody who's elected of like, yeah, I'll run, and then, who knows what's gonna happen,
yeah,
I just find that part a little weird.
you want to take your.
I mean, it's an experience, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that I personally have on there that I wouldn't want to lose, over the last 5 years that I've been on, but like, I don't know, it's just something it just seems weird.
I think that one's like a job. I think that the job is a good analogy. The first one, I'm a little more sympathetic to your thing, like, well, elected office, well, I just got elected by the people want me here, don't tell me what I have to do.
Yeah,
I kind of get that a little bit,
yeah,
but the losing access to your account after out of office, that makes sense to me. Like, yeah, you're not in charge anymore, so you don't get to see the confidential emails that you used to receive because you're not in charge. You don't have access to those anymore. And like in your job, you grab the ones you need before you lose access to your email.
yeah. I'm just not gonna know which ones I might need. Be like, oh yeah, no, I did meet that person. Yeah, I wonder.
So when we talk about elected officials, we've got the moderator, 5 select board members, town clerk, the justices of the peace, right?
Yep.
Oh, we have to get them for all of them too.
Well, so that was one of my questions is, do we want to carve out an exception to very part-time people?
Yeah,
I mean.
We do not want to make JPs get email
Right.
accounts.
Paula sent I had asked for some information about how much an email account costs, and
yeah, it's over
It's-
$200 a year.
$204 for just the email, no more Microsoft Suite stuff, so $204. But most people already have email addresses.
Yeah.
Like the moderator.
We're not paying $200 for that account, are we?
Yeah, we are.
We're paying that, that's like,
Yeah.
that's like,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not
So
good at math
these-
anymore, but
these-
it's like
$50 a month or something.
He's
Yeah,
planning committee chair, mobs chair, JCDC chair, they just pass it to the next person because they're just,
Yeah,
yeah. So, and I think Dave Barron.
Nope, he's
No,
not
he's
one.
not
He's
on
not
that
one.
one.
that seems ludicrous to me,
What?
that we're paying $200 per email account. You sign up for like, go to Wix.com and they'll give you 50 email accounts for free.
yeah, I don't pay anything.
We
Right.
don't want to go to Wix.com.
I know, but that just seems like someone's got us over the barrel, and that just seems totally inappropriate. That, like, who is this? This isn't through,
It's probably what
Tab.
Microsoft charges, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
that seems crazy to me.
Yeah, that was my third bullet was,
And how
that
much,
seems an awful lot of
can
money,
you do quick math?
Not anymore.
$204 by 25?
5,000.
Oh, times you mean? Times 25?
No, not 5,000.
Yes, it is.
Sounds about right.
5,080.
It is, you are right. $100. That's what we're paying every year.
That seems ridiculous to me.
Well,
That would make me wanna like reevaluate our, so this group, what else are they doing besides email for us?
There are tech support. They run our,
No, those are just the chairs of each committee.
no, but
What's the organization that?
The tech group, our computer support, you're right,
Yes,
yeah,
they do for us.
right.
the Microsoft account, so that, they have to pay Microsoft. We're paying Microsoft. They're probably getting the bulk of the money.
They actually, we have, we have all of our computers supported through them. We're on the cloud with them. They back up all of the system, the server.
Right, and all that makes total sense now.
Yeah,
I remember we got a bill
yeah,
for that, it's
yeah,
like $10,000 or something. I was like, yep, that makes sense, we'll do it for sure.
Right.
That piece seems ridiculous. And maybe it's the Microsoft piece, but
I think it's the cost of doing business.
because, I mean,
it's a lot of money,
it's a lot
especially if we're,
for email that like is JCDC's on there, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
I know I don't do that at all. Like, it's
So maybe we can de-accession or whatever it's called.
yeah, deactivated.
Deactivate the accounts that no one's using.
Well, that's kind of counter to what.
Did, and they're not employees. Like Mob's chair, JCDC chair, DEI chair, DRB chair. Like they don't fall under the policy that we're passing.
Yeah. I mean, do we need, like, I feel like those accounts don't need Microsoft Suite access or whatever.
It's not, it's
Just the email.
just the email.
If
That's
you
all
want-
it is. It's just email.
If you want Microsoft Suite
That's
and
what it
email, it's
costs you.
$288
a month.
per year.
Per year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you want to keep thinking about that part a little bit? I had a couple more
So,
points.
I mean, I think if we want to save ourselves some money, we could be reaching out to all of these chairs to see if they're using it. You're not, we can
No.
get rid of that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
That just. I don't,
uh,
Paul, do you know, is this what every town does? Like, does every town have?
Most people have the tech group. I mean, I don't know about most, but a lot of towns use.
I don't know about the chairs of each committee.
No, but I mean, like, do
Yes.
most towns use these people and they're paying the same thing for every.
You go to the
they
town
have.
fair, they're
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
they're like one of the main, I don't know if they're the only ones.
Mhm.
so.
We used to have a different one and it cost us much more.
I remember we signed on the new account, we was
Yeah.
like $4,000 less or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll shut up, but that just seems insane and we're paying, we should definitely call that list for sure.
Call it, yeah.
Yeah. Cause $5,000 for 20 email accounts is insane.
Yeah, that's a lot
I mean,
every single year.
talk about my taxes being raised, like,
Right.
seriously?
So. Someone will need to email
Mhm.
these
Yep,
chairs.
I can do that.
Okay.
You should just send
And-
an email to all those residents and say, hey, if you don't reply to
This is your last
if you don't
email.
reply to this email within a week, we're deleting it, like.
I know Susan uses it.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to whether we want to, because we've just identified some elected officials, it doesn't make sense for them, like the justice of the peace or the moderator.
Yep.
Is there a way to carve that, an exception out that says these very part-time positions are exempted?
But rather than.
And what constitutes a very part-time?
Rather than carving out, can we just go the other way and not make a blanket statement like elected officials except for, but instead just say,
Just list the ones that you do.
like town clerk, select board members,
It should
and
just,
planning
if you're
commissioner.
talking about
chairs that they
elected
want.
official, honestly. What it could be employees, right? The employees, really, that's what really matters, right? And
He's just
and
an
it should
employee.
be a it
Just an
should
employee,
be,
right?
yeah. I mean, it should say, staff. Including town clerk or something like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
if that's what you want,
Okay, so we were, that would totally exempt you
It would.
if we took out elected officials.
Well, yes, it would, but if we're. I'm not trying to run the train over Eric, but. If like going back to the reason we started talking about this was about like, there's reasons for
Yeah,
us having. For the select board having accounts.
yeah, I would feel more comfortable emailing you. If I'm not on the select board and I don't know you, I would rather email you as a .gov select board chair.
I agree with that. The only counter that I have is I've never been in this role and thought, I am not getting enough email.
Yeah.
But you do want people, you want.
I do want people to feel comfortable
and
and
comfortable emailing you.
absolutely, you're right. And I'm not disagreeing with that, but I do get plenty of email. Who's the only point I wanted to make? Even if that part is considered, I just want to move on to my next point.
Sure.
Was your third point the cost? Blank. Okay,
Yep.
okay, yeah.
The cost was one of them. I had one other one too. This one I didn't write down. 4B. I think 4B is really bad. About 3/4 of the way through that paragraph. Additionally, employees who have a confidential password to access the town's computer system or to access any town-sponsored computer networks or software as a service shall provide access to the select board or the employee's supervisor upon request. You cannot ask, there's no scenario where it's okay to ask somebody for their password.
Wait, so this is saying that?
We do here.
We should.
What, that
No, we're allowed to, because of the fact that, if somebody leaves or they walk out, we have access to that. The town is accessible for that because it's on the server, it's the town's property.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah,
We should have access to
I
that.
think they're having things, I think. I think
Oh, okay,
I think it's
okay.
having different things.
Okay.
So is, and I listened, but I couldn't quite follow. Is this saying that if I am, for example, the assistant town clerk and I bring this computer into the town clerk's office and I use it to check my town clerk email, that you now have access to my entire computer?
No.
Yeah.
What is it?
No. Let's say that was your work computer.
Which town bought?
Mhm.
Town bought,
Mhm.
it's the work computer.
Yep.
You created a password for it.
Yep.
This policy says you have to tell, and you work for Paula, you have to tell Paula that password.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
no, the tech group should have ways to access that. There's no scenario where you ever
That's
need to
true.
give somebody a password. Yes, you're right, you have the right to it, and the tech group needs to find a way for it. There's no scenario, I've been working in IT for 20 years, I have never had to provide a password to somebody.
Well, I don't think, it actually doesn't say password. It says shall provide access to the select board or the employee supervisor upon request. I maybe to add access to that computer and all of its information.
Yeah, I think the tech group should be able to get into any one way or another. They should have a way to get into anything, including their email account. Like, for example, as a manager,
I can
When
see
people-
that, but you know what, we have, you're right, but for the town, everybody has a login to get to their computer,
Yep.
right? That we do, that's what I'm saying, we have passwords for, right?
You
And
assign
they're
them.
just because we assign them. That's what we have. We don't have passwords, at least I don't, to their email account. We have passwords to their computers. And you're right, probably tech group can access the folders, the email folders.
yeah, and the email, they can access any of it, but you should never have to provide your password. There are ways into it, but you shouldn't have to give your supervisor, because what if my password was I hate Paula? Like, that's a totally legal password to have, and I might have it as my boss. I really don't think you can do that.
I think you can demand, so if my password is I hate Paula and I have a computer that's found. If my passwords that are not very flattering. If I have a password that is Eric's employees hate him. And you demand access, which you have access to because you work with, I would type in Eric's employees hate him and then hand you my computer. I don't think I have to give you my password, I have to give you access to the computer saying, here you go, you own the computer, I've given you access.
Mhm.
And then if I've got stuff hidden on there, you can go in and find the hidden, I need access to that folder you've hidden from me. So I think this is less about the password, which seems like a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal, but I hear that, and you're way more in this world than I am.
Yeah, I just
But
don't, yeah.
I think providing access to the select board, the supervisor upon request to the computer, it's our computer.
I mean, I think it's fine to have, as long as we can clarify, this really reads like
Mhm.
who have a confidential password, all passwords are confidential. To access.
Well, no, but if some places they assign you the password, they give you the password.
Let me zoom way out.
Yep.
Just in the world we live in right now, there should never be a reason where you ever give anybody your password. There's no bank that's gonna call and say, what's the password to your account, right? Like it sets a bad precedence in general. All of this access is 100% right. Absolutely. The tech group, you should be able to, Paula, say, hey, Peter's my employee. I'm having a problem with him. I need access to his account. You can do that. Absolutely. And you do not need to have his password in order to do it.
Mhm.
So I think.
But you can't. But if Paula and I are in conflict and I don't bring and I have my computer at home, I have town's computer at home. And it's not on the internet, they can't get into it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I have all this, I have pornography on my work computer. I get off the Wi-Fi, I'm like, they're gonna catch me, I'm gonna take it off the Wi-Fi, I'm not gonna.
Right, yeah, you're right, they wouldn't have access in that case.
Because they have to have a network connection to it. You know, but if we're thinking like a catastrophic, like, oh my God, we have this huge problem that we have to get that.
But then that person's not gonna give the password anyway, so, right, if you're, I mean.
And people don't have laptops, is that correct?
We do have
We do,
laptops.
so people can take them home.
Mhm. But I don't know, cause. Yeah, I can mention that after.
What about additionally, employees who have access to the town's computer system or to access?
Wait, hold on, you're editing.
So,
Employees who
Wait.
have access.
basically we skip the who have a confidential password, but if employees who have access to the town's computer system shall provide access to the select board or the employee supervisor upon request.
No,
No?
if we have the right to any of that stuff, but it not through the person. I think the tech group needs to provide that. I think they can. I think they wouldn't be an IT group if they could. Like if we say, hey, we need to get into, I'm using Amy. I have no concerns about Amy for the record. Amy's our financial coordinator. We think there's a problem. We can call the tech group right now and we can get into her account and we can find anything that she's done with anything.
Mhm.
That is always within our right and our power.
Mhm.
Obviously, you don't do it unless there's something
That's
serious. But you would never say, come in and enter your password
Mhm,
or come in or even come and provide us this access. You just don't,
Mhm.
it's just not.
How about-
IT policy?
How about additionally employees who have access to the town's computer? And maybe this is really, we're like too deep in the weeds and needs to be looked at offline, but additionally employees who have access to the town's computer system acknowledge that the select board and or their employee supervisor will have access to that computer at any time.
I would be totally fine with that. That's very normal for any
Yep.
employment type of situation.
Did you get that, Laura?
I think so, and I'm
Okay.
happy to work on it, and maybe I'll run it by you, Peter, or
It's not, whatever, no, wait, I just made that up on the
wait,
spot.
just
no.
rewrite this part. No, but it's good.
But just the idea
Yeah,
that
that's-
people are acknowledging,
Mhm.
as I work here, I understand that you can do whatever you want to my computer.
This doesn't belong to me.
Right, that doesn't belong to me.
Okay,
And then the last one, this one is not as concerned, but for the AI thing, it said the way I read it, and maybe I'm being too nitpicky.
what page is that?
I don't know. No, I can't find it. I didn't write it down. D 8D.
Mhm.
Number one feels like we have to give them permission every time they want to use AI. Is that not how it reads to you guys?
There's no point to this. Oh, we went up. Mhm.
That seems, the whole thing seems a little weird to me.
Yeah.
Employees may use
One does.
employees may use AI tools only for town business. Like, that seems like a weird sentence to me.
Yeah.
May use AI only for town business.
Well, I go home, can I, like, if I'm on my computer and I need to find the nearest McDonald's.
Yeah,
You got to call Paula as your supervisor.
Call Paul and say, Paul, like, it just seems.
Peter, I'll tell you where the McDonald's is.
so here,
AI tools for town business only when authorized.
Yeah, I don't like the only when. Like, I think
Mm-mm.
it's fine to have an AI policy and like spend some time thinking about let's not upload sensitive all of everything we're working
And
on
it's
is
on there.
public. So
But it's also like, I wouldn't want someone to generate something from AI. I wouldn't want Paula to write a letter for the select board and say, and have AI do it.
yeah,
and
we
give it
need
to
some.
us as if she had written it.
Yeah, I mean, we need some controls around there. I don't know that you can put that into a policy yet. And I say that because we're trying to do that at a company who does this for a living and they haven't figured out how to write the policy on it yet. I think right now it's guidance. It's like, hey, I can kind of tell that you wrote this letter in a way that you don't know what you're talking about
Right.
because of the way the letter's right. Like, I think that's more of a conversation.
so I think we can work with this. The employees all have the Microsoft suite as part of their
Mhm.
account, right?
Mhm.
So we could encourage them to use Copilot,
Mhm.
which is a
Mhm.
Microsoft,
Mhm.
and that is more secure.
Right.
Like, don't be using ChatGPT,
Right.
all other crap.
Yeah.
No shade on ChatGPT, but that's not a work product.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I can work on this too.
If you force them only into Copilot,
Yeah.
you're definitely restricting the amount of AI that will be used.
And that obviously confidential stuff shouldn't be funneled
Yeah.
into AI. And to your point that something was written entirely with AI, we we have statements of disclosure, like AI was used, Gen AI was used for this particular purpose.
We could-
To
yeah, okay.
check, you know, like if I did something in.
Like a document you
If this was
provided.
entirely AI, I would say
Or you started
I
with AI.
could say this, yeah, the ways in which I did it, or I used it to check my grammar or whatever, kind of like a college student. And that's a recommended for all scholars, all people who are doing
Okay,
public stuff,
that makes sense.
so.
So are we taking out bullet 1 and just doing bullets 2 and 3?
Yes, but I would, what do you think about encouraging,
Yeah, the
The Microsoft
Yep,
Copilot.
yep, yep.
not, if they're using a town computer, like, don't introduce crappy AI tools onto the town computer. Cause nobody really knows what's crap and what's not.
Right.
I don't know. Right, like.
mean-
That AI, that your AI minutes thing, right? Like, how useful is that?
Yeah.
That's not Copilot.
Right.
Um,
Localminutes.org has every town
Right,
minutes going
right.
back to the 1950s.
Yeah.
and so would an employee be restricted from using?
Well, you can say encourage using Copilot, right? And just not and use, you know, if they.
There's kind of two sides. There's like research, which is like localminutes.org, and then there's generation of information, generation of documents. That feels like a
So the local minutes is an AI generated,
browser
yeah.
or
The
URL.
person isn't using AI, they're just looking at AI generated content.
Right.
And you see the distinction, they're not like putting content.
No, I agree. There's two
Yeah.
uses. There's like,
Yeah,
I go on and I'm looking, I want to know what the municipal tax rate is for every town in Chittenden County, and I ask AI and it tells me, and it's all wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm not generating, I'm not using AI to generate stuff. I mean, I'm asking it a question, I'm taking information it gives me and then saying, oh, here are some facts about tax rates in Chittenden County, which are not actually true because they couldn't find it and they made it all up. And it's also like, in a week, it's gonna be different. So
It's really hard to put any AI stuff into a cloud system.
it's fine. Just keep coming back. Just keep working on it.
And taking that elected officials, but just putting staff and town clerk, right?
Well, I don't know that there's agreement on that.
Oh, okay. Do you still want me to find out about the elected officials' emails and stuff?
I'd love to, yeah. if
Which
you-
you mean like what other towns do?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
About what other towns do, or, okay,
Yeah, what other towns do?
I don't care about that, Eric wants that.
Okay,
I'm just interested if there's precedent for it. If there's precedent for it, then I'm not.
okay.
I'd like to find out if,
The chairs for
who's
that.
using those
Yep,
emails, because it's
yep.
$200 a pop.
Yep, I got both of those.
But if we just say employees,
Mm-hmm.
that would take care of full-time elected officials.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep,
And we're,
Which is just Jessica,
yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we'd be exempt.
right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
anything else?
Those are my points.
Were you here at the last meeting?
I was.
Okay.
I raised a few of these I raised. I think I asked about the precedents in the last one, and that's on me. I could have totally looked.
No, it's all good. This, like a lot of the other MOUs we're looking at and policies takes a long time to get right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to do.
It's all legalese.
It's-
And you're constantly thinking about, well, what if?
Yeah.
Paula, so I'll do my best shot. And,
Yeah, okay, and, yeah,
give it
let's-
to you to look at.
okay, sounds good.
Despite the fact that it turns out it's gonna cost $204, I would still like a town account.
Yeah, he's got it, he's working on it,
People,
yep, and I should have it by Monday.
perfect.
So, and I want to follow up on the question that was asked, and I asked Paula about it. Why is the town website a .org?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll let you answer, rather than me reading your answer.
We used to have a .gov email with where way back before Bang the Table or whatever, before we switched platforms, and now we switched platforms again. and this platform is a .org platform. So I don't even remember what else I put in there.
And that was a conscious decision made by
Yeah,
the town planner at the time,
yep, yes.
and
The
Sabina
previous-
was involved with that too?
No, she wasn't
Yeah.
involved in that other one. Oh, Meredith is back. She wasn't involved in that one.
Yeah,
She was involved in this one, but this is how it's set up through this .org instead of .gov. We used to have a .gov account, but
so I think the question for our web provider is, so right now the .gov.
Points to the door.
it goes right to
Yeah,
the.
it was to
Yep,
the .org.
they-
Can
they-
they flip that, or they only do .orgs and that's the end?
That's a good, I don't know if they can flip it, but
So that the
we can-
.org resolves to the .gov.
And so the .org eventually just no one refers to it because everyone gets used.
They'll like redirect it.
Yeah.
Right, they'll redirect it, but
Correct,
eventually
.org, thank you.
redirect it right now because people are used to typing in .org for that, but I think that over time, hopefully be like, oh no, everything in town is JerichoVT.gov. That's
Right.
just what it is.
Right.
But in the meantime, flip
The
that.
simple fix is probably not though. There was a reason, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, I can't remember.
And if if the answer is, oh no, we'd have to rebuild every page and.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Next on the agenda is,
Do you want to do Meredith or?
Let's do
She's
Meredith
here?
because she's here.
She just came on, so if you want, or you want to wait, whatever you want to do. It's up to you
I'm
guys.
okay with moving it.
I
You're not supposed to make a change
Midstream.
midstream, but yeah, it's,
You got it.
no, it's fine. It's, she doesn't want to sit and listen to Peter talk about which 4 options for the TMR.
Okay with waiting though, too. I really appreciate you being so accommodating.
No worries.
So, Meredith, it says here that you are interested in being appointed as a Jericho Town Library Trustee with a term expiring in 2027. What makes you want to do that?
Well, I worked at the Jericho Town Library for about 2.5 years. I actually just stopped working there in July, and I love the library so much. And I only left working there because I took a full-time teaching position elsewhere. So I couldn't do both anymore, but I still want to be connected to the library. And I'm a Jericho Town resident. I live about 5 minutes away from the library.
I know they speak very highly of you at the library.
Well, I love the board, and I loved Catherine so much. I loved working with her. So I just really have deep roots there, and my kids and I spend a lot of time there.
I'll make a motion to appoint
I have a
Meredith.
question. Did anyone else have any questions? I usually like to try to.
She wants to be a trustee.
I do have one question for you, and especially if you've been there for a while, maybe you can help us with this.
Sure.
I would like to say that I'd like to see better alignment between the select board and the board of trustees. So my question is, what would help, and I know you're not even on there yet, but based on what you think you know, what would help on our side to accomplish that? Like what can the select board do in your view to help I guess align the two boards together more? And then the follow-up, then the flip question is the same. And what changes do you think that could be made on the trustees side to help with that? What I'm calling better alignment, which I know is a vague.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Like it just feels like the board is opposed to the select board.
Oh, okay.
We're not aligned,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
We had,
in desires and purposes.
yeah, I was hoping to not
Gotcha.
go into tons of history, but in
Yeah,
the
okay.
last year, we
Gotcha.
had a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
We ended up on very different sides of something, and we're a small town, and I don't like being in that position. And so how do the two boards make it better?
I think these are good questions, and I think that the library board is now trying to work harder to become more aligned with the select board. But I also think it would be beneficial if there were term limits on the board for the library. I think it is helpful to have some turnover on the board. I think it is positive to see that there are new people coming onto the board so that there can be more alignment going forward in the future. And I think that a lot of the board right now has been on the board for a long time, and they're wonderful board members. They really care about the library, but I think it is also good to get new perspectives on the board, whether it's every 3 years or every 8 years or something like that. I think it is positive to get new perspectives over there.
Good, yeah.
And I think a number of things have happened to improve. There's 2 select boards who are working as liaisons
That's the big
with.
Yeah, I think that is helping,
Yeah,
but I just.
the MOU
Yep.
is coming.
But I'm assuming that there are things on our side. Obviously, that's a big one. Having you and Chris working closely with them certainly helps, but I'm sure there are things we can do better. So I was just interested in what those might be.
I think also having board members attend each meeting. So having a select board member that comes to the Jericho Town Library Board meetings and having a Jericho Town Library Board member attend select board meetings. I think it's beneficial on both ends to have more connection in that way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Those are good.
That's the only question I had.
I make a motion to enthusiastically appoint Meredith Bartolo as Jericho Town Library Trustee with a term expiring in 2027.
I second that.
Is there a reason that it's expiring in
I knew
2027?
you were gonna ask that. Yes, because that's the vacancy.
The vacancy is that, okay.
Mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you very much, Meredith.
Yay, thank you so much. And I'm really excited to help try to align these 2 boards, actually.
Great.
That's awesome.
Thank
That's
you.
great to hear.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Next on the agenda is Town Meeting Reimagined. Peter's going to walk us through some of that.
Yep. Hold on, let me get into the Zoom. Oh my God, I hate Zoom so much. Here's my entire screen and probably regret that. Even worse. Okay, here we go. Did I send this to you folks ahead of time?
Yeah.
Not that I don't expect you've read it, but just so there were 4 options that the town meeting Reimagined group came up with. One was to do nothing, to keep it the way it is and improve efficiency. The second one was to change to a Saturday meeting with a budget section and then a public questions section with maybe lunch in between. Third option was consider 2 meetings separately, a budget meeting as we normally do, and then a public questions meeting separately. And then option 4 was to have the meeting the budget review meeting and public questions on town meeting day. Or the previous Saturday, for like typical town meeting day time period, and then have the Australian ballot vote happen in late April or May, and that would require a charter change. So we talked this all through, and the TMRI committee said we're not prepared to say we want this. This is the right answer, select board. And they said can you bring the select board? Gabe prompted me to remember to do that, and so I sent an email out about a week ago to the TMRI committee saying, hey, I'm putting together a synopsis of our feelings and thoughts. I know some people have been talking offline and have changed their minds. Please let me know your thoughts on these 4 opinions. And then I just kind of called it all together into pro and con reasons for each option and the number of votes. So what I think is true is that lots of people actually liked option 4, which was to move the meeting to town meeting day or the previous Saturday and then have a vote later. But that can't happen. I mean, that's like that's a whole charter change, which is the townwide vote. It's a whole, that would take, it's like, if we were dedicated to it, we would take a year and realistically probably longer to energize people. And that's actually the thing that hit home for me was the first comment under cons there. This means a charter change. We need to make 100% sure it's the correct answer before I pursue it. And we're not there yet. And people, it's not like everyone's like, this is the answer. We have to do this. And because it's such a big deal, I think that option 4 should be dismissed until we're like, this is what we have to do.
Yeah, it's not one you can just try out for a year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that we flush that.
The only con I just want to add to that, not to belabor it if you're skipping it.
Yep.
That's vacation week. And so that Saturday would be, a lot of families go on vacation.
Yep.
The Tuesday's a little different because,
Tuesday.
Yeah. So most people I imagine, would
Are
be
back
back.
by then, yeah.
Whereas the Saturday is like.
In the past, you're totally right, but we had it on Tuesdays. This is like back in the 90s. We had it on
and we
Tuesdays.
tried it on Saturday.
We tried it on Saturday. Like the exact same number of people showed up.
Yeah.
And the same people showed up. And
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that leaves us with options 1, 2, and 3. And of those 3, the most popular was change to a Saturday meeting with 2 sections, budget and public questions, and then maybe a lunch in between. And the positives for that, I mean, they're all right there. You can read them. But I think a lot of the positive was it's time for the community to get together and really spend some time together. And some of the cons are it takes too much time. I don't want to spend that much time on town business.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the pros and the cons are kind of both the same. It takes a lot of time, and isn't that great? And it takes a lot of time, and doesn't that?
Yeah, but I like that bullet that I don't know why I can't see it right in front of me now. Oh, the first one. Like, if you care about the budget and that's why you're there, maybe you don't care about the public questions as much, right? Like you can just kind of pick which one you care about.
So that would require the meeting to be run such that, like, I'm making this up, but like budget review meeting begins at 9 a.m. And public question meeting begins at 1 p.m. And if the budget review meeting ends at 10:30.
Oh, I see.
As opposed to a town meeting day, it's just budget's over, public questions begin.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, you're right.
You gotta have a fixed thing. And lunch is always complex because, like, when's meeting gonna end? Meeting's not done yet. Lunch is ready. Hot dogs are ready.
Right.
We have an amendment on the floor. We have to finish the meeting. Like, so that can be really tough to coordinate the lunch piece from a logistical point of view.
A free lunch is really good.
Yep, free lunch is very good.
Or potluck lunches.
Yep.
Whatever you want to call it.
So yeah, so under additional comments.
2 would be the first, option 3, and then option 1, right? Like the way it's kind of.
In terms, just in terms of votes, yes, I think that's true. I also think that I collected this information all through email, so there was no conversation about it. I think that as we talked, and I said, and people said things like, we'd have to have a public questions meeting at X o'clock and have set times, and then meeting things up too early. Now we have this awkward time where and lunch is like, I think as it got talked through. I think at first blush, I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be great. Like you said, like, come to the meeting you want to come to, but then you begin to dig in and you're like, oh wait, that kind of be complex. I think that if the town meeting group had a conversation about this, some of those pros might turn to cons. Some of the people who are like, yeah, this is great, this is the answer, might turn to like, I'm not really so sure. And this is exactly why they didn't come to a consensus, because there's no perfect answer. One thing that I was thinking was under the cons for the first option, the biggest, well, there's only 2 of them there, right? Meeting will go too late and we can't improve efficiency. The length is frustrating people who are waiting for public questions. I think that we can tighten things up in the meeting. I think that the select board I think we've gotten better about being more focused in our comments and our lead in. And I'm not convinced that we can't make it more efficient. Maybe we put times on the articles. And I think the other thing to remember is that this is not town meeting day. This is a select board meeting.
Yep.
So we could artificially say, I don't know, that we have 7 articles. We're giving article 1, 25 minutes. We're giving and how to break it out and say this is how the meeting's going to proceed. And people are free to send emails to Eric's new email address if you have comments we don't have time for. So there's other ways to communicate with us. We're glad you're all here. And we can also then say like, yeah, time is up for this, but people are really passionate. We want to have less comments, so we do have a vote before we move to the next topic. So we can play with it a little bit. We're not kind of locked into.
Yeah,
Say whatever you want, talk as long as you want. We'll be here all night. We don't care. We have the ability to make the meeting more efficient. And the other thing that I thought struck, which is 2 people on the pro vote for option 1, was it's too soon to be making any changes. Like voting on it twice.
true.
And doing it one more time.
Yeah, I feel like I my only counter to your confidence that we can improve efficiency, I feel like I tried really hard to do that this last time and failed at it. Like I couldn't keep it moving faster. I felt like we were already cutting people off who wanted to talk. It felt rushed through the things to try to, it really felt like we were stifling the whole point by trying to speed it. Like people can't bring up some random thing about the road salt one. It's a really good one. We've been talking about it every town meeting forever. I don't know. I felt like we tried to, I do think in hindsight, I could have overridden the moderator on the library thing. That would have, we had already decided. And I think he agreed, whatever.
Everyone agreed with that, right? Yeah.
Right. So I could have done that.
Caught off guard.
But even without that, it still would have been long by the time we got to public questions. I don't know. I think.
What if there's a way of like, I don't know, just thinking about it, having some sort of send your public questions before or something, like.
That's the other piece.
That's the part that I wanted. I really wanted that first meeting to provide, and it hasn't been yet, right?
Right.
Could you try not to surprise us? You have every right to surprise us, but boy, would it work better if I had a little bit of a heads up on some of this stuff, right? And so,
yeah.
But
the other piece is the public questions thing, which is like a whole boondoggle of its own that you can't. And I get confused about all this, but you really can't. If someone petitioned, so I think realistically, the only way to get a public question considered at a town meeting like meeting is if the select board makes it happen. Because if Chuck Lacey makes a petition and gets enough of it signed, that's a legal thing. Like there's no, and that language is defined. You can't go and debate the language and change the language on the fly at the meeting. That's a vote has to happen within whatever it is, 60 days, and there's no discussion. So the only way a public question can come out that can be talked about and debated and edited as a group and then put on the Australian ballot is if the select board chooses to do that. My thought was that if someone, I forget, this isn't, I'm gonna say this, but it's not correct. That if somebody had an idea for a public question, they could bring it to the select board and we could just say, we will, this is not right. But like, if you have a public question, bring it to us, we will put it on the article for you and we can debate it and talk about it and hash it out and then put it on the Australian ballot. Rather than there's some bar to get in the door because, or maybe if you collect 100 signatures, that's what I was thinking. If you collect 100 signatures for some discussion, just to have the discussion for some article, if you collect 100 signatures, the select board will put that article on the town meeting day, public questions portion of the meeting, and we'll talk it through. And we'll edit the language as a community and we'll come out with it, and then that item will go on the Australian ballot.
So you have to get on the agenda in advance, which
Yeah.
seems fair.
Yeah,
Um,
and you have to do, you can't just walk in and, whoever. The resident A can't just walk in and say, hey, I got a public question for you. Should we ban the select board? Well, we said we put it on there, we'll put that on the list. Like, there gotta be some kind of a bar to show that it's something the community is actually interested in. If we set the bar of a petition of 5, 10, whatever it is %, now it's legally binding, so it's no longer a discussion. When I put the idea of some lower bar to get on the public questions thing, the TMR, which is kind of funny because I'm on the select board and they're not. A lot of the TMRI committee was really uncomfortable with the select board choosing to put an article on the ballot, on the town
Agenda.
meeting warning, if it was something radical. Someone gets a whole bunch of, if 100 people get a petition that says we want to make a statement that we think abortion is murder, and 100 people in town sign it, and then the select board puts that on the town warned article. And I said, yeah, but we would be clear. We don't agree with this. However, we were told we set a bar of 100 people if that bar was met. And so we're doing this. The TMRI felt that was ridiculous and that would never be not possible, but they felt it was really dangerous.
wasn't there some?
What's the 5% guidance again? The 5% number?
225. I mean, it changes with the residency, but like 200 and something.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some statement or guidance that it needs to be related to town business? The public question.
But
That's a made up thing.
Okay.
That's a Jericho made up thing.
Can we make that, like, we'll put it on the agenda if you have X signatures and it's related to town business? It's in our purview as the town.
Okay,
like,
so
give me a couple examples. Like,
Road salt.
that's only come up in budget things. I think that's always been a budget one, but like,
Library funding,
budget,
the town tree.
town
the
trade.
town tree, okay. We want this to be the town tree.
But-
No, not that one.
But-
No, one that matters, but isn't budget related.
No authority over,
Abortion.
they need the 5 to 10%. Or they need the 10%.
They need. It depends on whose purview it is.
Yeah.
I think that abortion is under the purview of, I don't know. Could just be a statement, it wouldn't be like an actual law.
I'm trying to think of one that would, shall the tax collector be
You're looking-
allowed to, like, right, like
So I'm looking
something
for one that's
not budget, but within the voters, within the town, the voters purview.
that, I mean, I gave some examples in that other document.
Yeah, you had a bunch of good ones the other day.
Let me grab that real quick.
Should dog licenses be banned? Like, should you not have to register your dog? There's one. That's within.
Probably state law though, huh?
No, I imagine it's a town.
Why are we doing it then?
Talk to my screen.
We don't have
As all
some.
the other towns do.
Okay.
Why does anyone do everything? Do anything?
I thought the state made us do it.
Maybe, I don't know, it could be right. I
Can't find the 5% document.
Anyway, I'm not sure it matters. I think we know, I guess we know what we're talking about.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
It seems like the TMRI, and I think a lot of the people that attend TMRI are really interested in what public questions make it to the ballot. Is that a fair statement?
Yep.
And that's what they want to have more of a voice in what makes it to the ballot to be voted on. And they want to talk about that at that meeting. Is that accurate, Peter?
Say that all again.
Maybe they want to talk about it at the open house. How do we do it? What are the guidelines? What are the parameters?
Right, so the problem we're trying to solve is there are people who want to have a discussion on the articles that make it to the ballot to be voted on
Yes.
beyond just the budget.
Yeah, and the examples I have, I just found that document, and I stopped panicking about my screen being recorded and put on YouTube.
Oh, sorry, I noticed.
Shall the voters exempt, so examples are, shall the voters exempt the property of Underhill Jericho Fire Department from taxation from municipal and school purposes? That's something the school, that the voters can do. They have control over that.
Yeah.
Somebody says they want to exempt I don't even, Mills Roadside Park from taxes. I don't know if they are anyway, but like they want to exempt some group from taxes. If they get 5%, it has to be on the ballot.
Yep.
It's on the ballot.
Yep.
But we could say
Right.
that if you get 100 signatures, we'll discuss it at our budget review meeting.
Yeah.
5% or 10%?
5% for things that
That's a lot.
they have control over.
But we don't we have a say in the 5% right now, but not the 10%?
No, 5% is in state statute.
Okay, all right.
We may have
For
executed
things that
in the past and said, no, you need 10, but based on what he
Right.
learned, like, we have no authority to say no
Right.
to something like
If
that.
someone collects 5% over something that is in the citizens' control, not our
Okay.
control, then we have to put it to a vote
Okay,
within X days and da. For something that, what we have talked about with this, what the board needs to get heads around or decide what we're gonna do, is the idea that we'll let them, if they collect 10% of the voter signatures, we'll give them power to put a vote to something that we're in charge of.
Mhm.
So examples of that,
Understood.
does that make sense?
Yep. I know I've heard this 20 times.
Yeah,
Well,
I have two.
I've said it 20 times, and I still have to like refer to the document. So the method of voting at town meeting, repealing a town ordinance. That's citizens, sorry. Adopting a local ordinance. We want to, if we have said citizens can't make ordinances. If someone said, I want to make an ordinance to ban parking on Old Pump Road, and I've collected 10% of the town has signed this. We have said, not we, the select board for us, has said, if you get 10% of people to sign it, we will let that be a vote. Even though you citizens, you aren't allowed to make ordinances, that's our job. We'll give you that power.
Yep.
If you get this many. So the way it was pitched to us last time was the idea that this 10% is us being overly restrictive, demanding too much.
When really,
When really, it's us being more lenient than any other town.
we'll say, we'll put that abortion thing on there.
Right.
You get 10%.
Right, exactly.
Even though we all disagree.
Right.
And-
No, the abortion's not right, because that's not, we don't have power over that. So like an unrelated town business, but in terms of the 5%, 10% relate only to town business.
Oh,
Whether it's, and who,
Oh, I see.
who's in charge of it.
right.
Anyways, so we're way off topic.
Yeah, I know. But
We have to figure that out too. And the public question stuff relates to, I mean, it relates to all this.
yeah.
So, and we should make a decision on which option. That's the question, right?
I would love it if we made a decision of which one we like and had an explanation of why. And could send that back to TMRI and sort of ask for their blessing.
I feel neutral on option 1 and 2, like they're both good options.
I lost 1 and 2. I don't.
One
have
is
that
keep
in front
things
of
the
me.
way they are, and 2 is one long meeting with a break in the middle,
Yeah,
with lunch in the middle, or
but not necessarily any longer than the option 1, right?
well, I think
Does option 2 necessarily have to be longer?
it doesn't have to be. Well, I think that there'll be 2 distinct sections.
Oh, yeah,
And I think implicit is that, like, if you look at the additional comments at the bottom of that, it says it would be important to announce the start time of the public questions conversation. So people can plan on it, so that people don't have to go, like Eric was saying, don't have to go to the budget part if they don't care about that.
But I think maybe that becomes too hard, but I still like that option. Just like, we're done the budget section. We got done in 2 hours. We were anticipating it being 3. We're early. We're gonna take a 20-minute break and then we're gonna go into public questions. I mean, it's still better than never getting to them. It's still better than, like, I get it that you'd like to be able to, as a citizen, say, I don't want to hear about budget. I only care about public questions and I want to log in right at noon. And I think maybe that's just not feasible. And so I think I like I don't have the thing in front of me, but I like the one with the Saturday meeting so that we don't feel rushed trying to move through the budget, which is going to be a long discussion this year. I think it's going to be longer, right?
And I'll just add the caveat, I'm sort of always trying to think about when I bring this message back to them, the idea that we've only done this twice. And we shouldn't be changing things up yet. And I'm not advocating them to say that was a message that.
I think we should be changing it after 2. We changed it after 1. We're going to change it after 2. And guess what? We'll probably change it after 3.
We didn't change it after 1.
We've changed some stuff.
We ran the meeting better and had the same fall meeting, wasn't well attended, had the same January evening meeting. And then had the same, we moved from the NMU auditorium to the library, but that was all the same in terms of timing and.
The first year we didn't even consider public questions, I don't think. I think the second one we tried to.
We didn't get any either time.
No, the first one we just ran out of time. We said it's gonna end at this time and the budget took up the whole thing and then. I don't even think it was considered. I could be wrong. We can go back and look, but I don't think we can, I think we.
No, we did. We certainly did. I don't think we even, I think going into it, we didn't even, there was no discussion of public questions last time, I think.
The first time.
Right.
Right. And we didn't plan on it. We only did the, which drove us to try to think about that a little
On
bit.
the citizen side, it was the same thing twice, 2 different auditorium and library, but it was the October meeting, January meeting about the budget. Australian ballot vote. And now we're saying, nope, different Saturday. I mean, I guess from the citizens' point of view, right, it's going to be, the difference is going to be instead of being on a weekday evening, it's going to be on a Saturday morning. And there'll be a lunch.
Maybe.
That's from like a citizen's side, like forgetting all the minutia we know of. It's going to be on a Saturday, and I'd say there should be a lunch. And so either it's all done before lunch and we have lunch, or we have to stop at under the 5th section of the budget before the budget's done, we stop for lunch, and then and it's a long grind.
I'm leaning to option 2, even though I started out neutral, because it's January, so giving up a Saturday.
Scan.
Who skis on Saturday, dude?
Not
But
me.
like the evening it just feels a lot harder for people, including me, of just like it's late, it's cold and it's dark and we gotta work in the morning.
Yeah, I like option 2 with a break without promising that we're gonna start public questions at a second time. At a specific time.
I wonder if there's some way that we could, and this may be the TMRI question, but if there was a way that we could post updates digitally, like I don't know what it is, but like there are 7 articles involved in the budget. We are through Article 3, and then a half hour later, we just finished Article 3 finished, moving to Article 4, and then Article 7 has come up. We anticipate lunch being in the next half. We anticipate a break in the next half, or something so you can be home and you'd be like, oh, I got pinged. Oh, I'm gonna head over there now. Which is kind of what the PEI people do.
But didn't we not do that last year? Didn't we not break it down? That's what we did differently. Is the line by line, right?
No, but I mean in general, just the idea that we're just sending notifications like, hey, we're 1 hour into the meeting, we feel like we're halfway or whatever.
Right, but last year, didn't we not really?
We didn't go line by line.
And we didn't go section by section. We just kind of like went through.
We said, here are the high points. What do you want to do?
What do you want to talk about?
Right.
So I think that would be hard to gauge, right?
Yep, that's true. That's true. Oh, I see what you're saying. There is no timeline. It's just like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
That's true. I do, while on the topic, I do want to explain the budget, the entire budget better this year. Like I now understand the budget and how it works. And
Yeah, me too.
And we need to talk, I would like us to talk about how we represent the budget. Year comparison.
I don't want to talk about it. I want to do what you did what you said after whatever you presented, like that next meeting after when you like, I like and you had like 4 pages and like this was the blah, 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 like whatever you did there, that has my vote.
Yeah.
I don't really want to rethink it and I say we roll with something just like what you did and we see how smooth it goes and then we
Okay.
tweak from there.
Okay, great.
That's my own vote. There's
Yeah,
3 other people to think about it, but.
we can vote right now and be done with it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So much power.
So it sounds like that's between the 3 of us, well, the two of you, I'm trying to stay neutral and just represent the TMRI thinking that you guys are feeling like the Saturday meeting, that we're going to try the Saturday meeting this year. And this is being recorded, right? So I can go back and kind of parse out the reasoning and the pluses and minuses we've talked about and bring that to the TMRI committee.
So we're recommending option 2.
Yep.
Okay.
With some of the caveats that we talked about, which I'll record those about the thinking about timing and all that. Yeah.
I do think having a break in between would be good though, right? Go like.
Yep. And that will be a time for
And maybe you eat or.
the tabling can happen.
Yeah.
The people, people can have their tables out. Oh, right. Yeah, tables can be out and that can be a time to kill time and then.
Yeah.
And are you picturing a lunch being offered by the town?
Or,
What about like the
or-
food?
yeah, I don't know. I imagine there's gotta be food. No one's gonna show up without food, right?
Food hub's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's up for, they have PTSD from Dan's farm,
Oh,
but this is January, it's far away, but that they worked,
when they were slammed.
they were slammed and they worked so hard, like it was way more than they were expecting.
Oh,
Wow.
In a good way, it was great, but like, some things were like, oh, we didn't realize we had to do that, we have to do this humongous physical task beforehand to make it work. I don't want to say what it was, but like,
Right.
we didn't think that to do all that. Okay, we gotta just do it now. Let's get it done. Like, oh, we're up all night doing this.
yeah, I can sympathize.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll bring that back to the TMRI committee and hopefully they'll say, okay, we don't love it, but it makes sense or whatever.
Does the October open house and the January meeting have a dedicated budget? Like, do we?
Like a budget line for us to spend money on?
Like, how do we pay for it? It just comes out of,
Administrative.
okay.
Well, there's no cost on. Oh, open house. You mean like going forward? Yeah,
if
no,
we're
it
doing-
doesn't.
If we're doing food and we have to buy
Last year was,
things for the table.
We did like.
I feel like there was food last year though. Wasn't there some stuff out there? There was like chili, I don't know. There was.
That was
it
sponsored
for sale.
by
It was for
some-
sale. The
It
fellows,
was for sale.
and then the US sold it.
Yep.
Okay, so that, maybe that's the way to go.
We could do
Make
something
for
like that. I don't really want to cater it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we have
Alright, so we're not,
potluck or I don't know. We could.
Right.
yep,
I can reach out to the food hub or one of us, whatever, can reach out to the food hub and say, hey, you've been interested in doing this, and we can put out a bucket and a QR code and ask for money, and you guys can use it as a fundraiser but no charge. I don't know, whatever. The biggest issue is like, are you gonna prepare food for 25 people or 150 people? That's the hard part.
That's
That is
tough.
hard.
Yeah.
And you end up
Yeah.
bringing home 1,000 hot dogs and they're in your
Yeah.
freezer for a year. Okay, great. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
thanks for doing all that.
thank
Yeah,
you for
yeah,
putting all your brain power in that.
yeah.
Next on the agenda is letter of support from the select board for do we just need to sign that?
Yeah. And what is
We need
it?
to talk about it?
I don't
I'd
think.
like to at least know what it is.
Yep, I'll read it. So Chris wanted to submit the Riverside Village zoning updates that we're proposing
To the smart growth.
to this. There's like a smart growth thing, like basically
Award.
we're trying to show off a little bit of the good work that they've done on some of the zoning. These are the ones that they're going to, or the one that they did. No.
I think that's in the process. I'm assuming that the ones that are in right now that they're discussing.
This is what he would like to submit to what's the,
The Center for Solutions.
Mhm.
yeah. The Jericho Selectboard supports, for the record, for anyone, for the minutes, this is what is for us to consider approving and signing. Jericho Selectboard supports the submission of the Riverside Village Center Code to the Smart Growth America Center for Zoning Solutions 2026 Zoning Innovation Award. This code update is one step of an integrated process over the past 5 years to address the town's need for new mixed-use development, including a variety of missing middle and affordable housing types. Missing middle and affordable were in quotations. This process has included the town's initiation of an affordable housing committee to identify and advocate the community's specifics needs, a rewrite of the town plan, a wastewater study, a permitted site plan for the sawmill site in Riverside, and build out analyses of Riverside that test different implementations of the new code. The select board, along with community leaders and business leaders, have been active and enthusiastic supporters of this zoning reform as a key part of the town's overall planning strategy. That is what is for us to consider signing.
So it's not like the planning commission or some individual on the planning commission is submitting, like saying, hey, we want our code to be considered for this award. And we're like, it's like a letter of recommendation from a teacher, like, I support this applicant.
Yep.
Okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Do we have to do a motion?
We do.
I make a motion to sign the letter of support from the select board for the Center for Solutions Award.
I think it's Smart Growth America Center for Zoning Solutions.
Okay. The Smart Growth America Center for Zoning Solutions.
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
so we'll sign this and then leave it to Amy and Chris to figure out.
Yep.
Want me to make a motion for the liquor license?
Yes, I do.
I make a motion to approve liquor license for Waterfront Yogurt and Sandwich for September 6th, 12th, 13th, 19th, 25th, and 26th of 2026.
How did you do that so fast?
Because it's on it. It's one of the
Oh, I didn't know it was on there. Okay. I'm going to, yeah. Second the motion.
all those in favor say aye.
I
Before we get to updates, I'd like to take a minute to thank Paula Hollstein for her service as town administrator. Luckily for Jericho, she's not leaving our staff,
Thank you.
but she's going back to her old position supporting the town administrator. We really appreciate Paula stepping into the role and dealing with all the things that come with running a town so efficiently. And for the last 4 months or so, doing the assistant town administrator job as well. We know she'll be instrumental in bringing the new TA up to speed, and we look forward to continuing to work with her. Thanks for all the work that you do, Paula.
Thank you.
well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We
Thank
have-
you.
We have a little bag of goodies.
Oh, you do.
Know what to go.
You guys, Jericho tote bag. Baby Morse. She dabbed one. She did.
Oh, good for her.
That's why it was in the closet.
We should have coordinated, I should have coordinated with you to snuck the bread into that too.
Much, guys. This is great.
Thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you.
Doing 2 jobs.
Means a
for the
lot.
last 4 months. is-
Thank you.
And just,
I'm so grateful that you're sticking around.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Thank
I
you.
can't imagine.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is update of the wastewater task force.
You want to do that one too?
I want you to.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a meeting about a week ago and the big topic was deciding what we have 5 sites, A, B, C, D, E, 5 locations around Browns River that we can put septic. And we've got, they all yield different amounts of usage per day and they all cost different amounts of money. And we did a bunch of back and forth trying to figure out how to, we started with trying to, how can we get the most gallons per day for the least amount of money? And I personally went to the meeting like, oh, it's obvious, like these 2 sites are the biggest. They're the second cheapest. That's the answer right there. Turned out I was wrong. Somebody, maybe it might have been Chuck actually, Chuck or Justin Willis, somebody said, basically said, we don't want to spend all the money. If you just use the 2 biggest sites, which are the cheapest, you spend all your money up front and you have all this usage that you can't actually use because you have no houses. which opened the idea of do smaller things to get the ball rolling. So you're not borrowing the money to have enough for 200 houses. Because you're only gonna have 15 houses in the first year, and that gives you 185 houses of wasted time, and now you have a loan you're paying off, and you have no users, and so. It became a conversation about how do you balance. Taking on debt for the unused quantity, for the unused capacity that you're buying, that you aren't using yet. How do you balance that, which is cheaper? It's cheaper to buy a whole bunch and then roll it out over time. Or to use it over time. It's cheap, that's a cheaper way to build it. How do you balance that with spending just a little bit of money at first to get a little thing going, which will cost more money in the long run to keep adding sections costs? Does that make sense? So it's sort of like, do you go to Costco and buy 1,000 rolls of toilet paper because it's cheap, but then you have to store the toilet paper for the next 3 years? Or do you go to Hannaford's and buy one roll, which costs 15 times as much? But you're not wasting space in your bathroom. That's just all came to me as an analogy. And it's even septic related to the bathroom. I didn't plan that part.
And you're also taking a big financial hit, like you did with the Costco.
Right, the one roll of toilet paper costs 10 times as much as a single roll at the Costco because you're buying it in bulk.
Yeah.
But you're only paying $1.10 for that one roll, and even you're paying $150 for all the Costco ones, but per roll, they're way cheaper.
Yep.
And you're also borrowing money to buy all the Costco ones, so you're paying on that debt. So to my mind, it's really a complex question of like, how much do you spend money up front? You spend more money per gallon than you want to up front, so you don't commit a bunch of money, or that's stupid and really you're better off having interest, paying interest on a loan, because building a second set in 5 years is going to cost a ton more because everything gets more expensive. Like Eric always kind of says, and this isn't about wastewater, but Eric's always like, it's just going to get more expensive. Let's do it now. I don't know if you always say that, but it's just sort of like you've talked about, like if you put it off, it's going to cost more.
Right.
So finding the balance of those.
Imagine building that garage 2 years after we did.
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's sort of the, I don't know. In my head, the word is tension, but I'm not sure if it's tension, but sort of trying to balance those two pieces. And so
to give guidance to
right, that's
Du Bois and King to get to the final, the 90%, and then eventually the 100%, which will, like, what we're hoping for is a lot of options with a lot of costs associated with it. If you do A and you connect 50 homes, or you do A and you connect 30 homes, 20 of them new and 10 existing, here's what that could look like. Have some kind of.
Is that what they'll give you? Like,
that's what I'm hoping.
That's what I said to Kate McCarthy, like, how much can we ask?
Right.
Like, can we ask for, tell us about A and tell us about A and B? And she said, well, I would frame it to them like, tell us, design the entire system for everyone, A, B, C, D, and E. Maybe not C, but A, B, C, D, and E, all of them. And advise us on how to roll that out. Like, the whole system will cost you $20 million. But in the first year, if you began this process with just A, you could do it for $3 million. And then in 2 years, she wasn't clear about how much level of micromanaging that sort of rollout process, but we're hoping that they'll see that as like, no, the task is to bring septic to access all that space, and maybe it's over the next 15 years, but give us a plan for how to do that in a cost. And we said to do it, I think we said to do it in the most cost efficient way, so that we're not paying for stuff we're not using and not paying too much for small spaces.
And not paying so much for rework, right?
Right.
Like if really, like to Peter's analogy, like if doing this one first, and then we decide later we do want to do one of the other sites, if doing it that way doubles the cost, ignoring the inflation piece, right? Like,
you have to undo all your first stuff to make
like you gotta go undo those pipes or whatever it might.
To rip up your first job and basically redo it because you have to. That's right. Connect with the second part.
Right. Provide us guidance on that stuff because we don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Like, is it a pain to redig that pipe up if we want to extend it? Is it not a big deal? Is it like, well, you got to go there anyway? It's no, that's the stuff that we've been really,
And Justin can do some of that.
yeah, Justin and Joe are pretty good at like helping us at least know what questions to ask. So they've been great, but like, you know, I'm always worried about the questions I don't even
Right,
know
right.
how I would think to ask, you know?
And related to that, one of the things we talked about was we were talking about, this is kind of minutia, but whatever. We're talking about whether to provide it to both sides of Route 15 on that side of the property. And as we were talking about it, I think Joe said, well, if we're gonna tear up 15 to put a pipe down 15, we better put a second pipe down there now
Right.
that we're not gonna use. Because if you wanna bring it to the other side, you're gonna need a second pipe, and we don't wanna dig up 15 twice. We'll dig it up once, we'll put down the real pipe we're gonna use.
Smart.
And then a second pipe, or it's not even a pipe, it's like a conduit that will hold the pipe, hold the space for the pipe, which will then get slid in later. So that kind of stuff, which is to avoid, let's tear up 15 twice for $200,000 each time, and people are angry at us, you know, so. That's the kind of stuff that we're trying to glean, knowing what we don't know.
Yep. Nice job on the update. That brings us into select board updates.
I have very little. Next Thursday, August 27th, we'll be at the farmer's market. Chris Brown is doing shifts. And if he wants to invite Laura Durham, I'll ask him to reach out to her.
What's the date of his thing?
August 27th.
Oh, so she'll be
Yeah.
brand new.
And, you know, I'm happy to show up if he wants some help, especially if she can't do it. It's a lot to ask first week.
For sure. After hours.
But
Go ahead.
but also don't exclude her from it either.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah, if I'm not ask her.
yeah.
Good. The library MOU is still with the attorney and he said he'd have something tomorrow.
Ed,
Yep, Ed.
cool.
I had a meeting with Charlie Baker from CCRPC last week.
Eric's best friend.
Yeah, take your best friend.
I like Charlie.
He's like Charlie. Yeah, I do
great.
too. Yeah.
Okay, he had reached out to me to just kind of give me an orientation to what they do and what my questions are.
Yeah,
So it was great.
good.
I'm still the alternate, but next July possibility.
Yeah, which I think makes sense. That all you have?
Mhm.
Okay. I will, for the third time in one meeting, share my screen again. The open house group met. And we are, where are we at? We are beginning to think about kind of a smaller grain size. We need to think about the who, what, where, when, and some of the advertising. And the task before us right now is to decide on the groups that we're going to invite to be present at the open house. And the idea is groups that people will want to talk to. And I won't actually define it more than that for the moment. Well, I guess I will. We started with anybody who's funded by the town. Anybody who the taxpayers are spending money on, they should be able to get access to.
Yep.
And then we sort of looked into that and we thought, oh, well, wait a minute. Koozie, we give money to Koozie, we give money to COTS. We don't want every single Chittenden County organization to be there because that's just ridiculous.
Right.
You probably wouldn't want to anyway. We didn't want to even invite them because it would just spin up out of control. So we changed it to anybody, any organization in town, any organization that we give money to that is part of our town.
Mhm.
So that's where you get into sort of the food hub.
Yep.
Which is not part of the town governance, but we give them money. And we'd like them to be there. And that's sort of a general thing. Like, I think that actually, we don't give Deborah Ross.
We do. We do.
We do?
We give them money.
For what?
You know, part of our budget.
Yeah, it's part of our budget. They request.
Well,
No, they.
I see what you're saying.
We give them, we hand them the check.
Right, they tell us
yeah.
what they.
We
Yep,
can't,
yep,
they're
I see what you're
asking
saying.
us for money. They just say, hey,
I see what you're
it's how
saying.
we need to send us.
Right, exactly.
But that's like the fire department.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's, and fire department yeah, and both of those are also Underhill partly as well. So this is those we came up with, was the select board, the road crew. Town staff was kind of a generic, we weren't really sure. First of all, there was a question of like, can we even ask town staff to be there? It's a Saturday and what's their availability? And obviously we pay them, but, and who would we want there from town staff to answer questions? Bike Ped Committee, Affordable Housing Committee, Conservation Commission, DEI, Mobs Farm, Planning Commission, Energy Task Force, and so that's sort of the committee people. And then Food Hub, TMRI, Wastewater Task Force, JCDC, Library, Fire Department, and Rescue. So those are the things we came up with. The vision is that there'll be tables sort of the way there always are, where it's like that up and down the hallway, and maybe in the library, people can meander and chit chat. And we're hoping to have 2 people at each table so that if Laura and I are there for the select board, I can get up and walk around and visit other people, and Laura can be at her table, and then I can be there and Laura can move around to kind of explicitly make it space for silos to people to move between silos in town governance. And then the other piece was the idea that in a separate room, completely optional, that groups have a chance to do a presentation, like a 10-minute presentation about whatever the thing is that they're working on. And then people who are interested, and then we make an announcement like, oh, in 5 minutes, the planning commission will be in this room talking about the planning commission, the changes they proposed or whatever.
If they have a schedule when they come in, you know, at the table, like this is happening at this time.
Yes, yep. Yes. I guess it wouldn't be an announcement, but yes, but there would be a schedule up front. And then people could know.
Conference.
People could say, I don't care about anything except for the 10:30 presentation. I'm going to show up for that.
What about the development review board? Is that on there? DRB?
It was not. And the idea with this was that each table would have sort of, here's who we are, a little bit of kind of here's who we are, but even more like, here's the big question we're thinking about. And so we'd love your thoughts on this topic that we're thinking about. So for example, like this isn't just an example, like we might have said, oh, we want your thinking on when to have the budget review meeting. Should it be on the weekday? Should it be on a weekend? Should it be a meeting or 2 meetings? Sort of a question to engage people beyond like, yeah, we're sitting here, you have any questions for us? But like starting to saying, here's what we're working on right now. We'd love your input. So I'm not sure if DRB would fit that because they're like a judicial. I think the only thing they would have to do would be, do you have questions for how we work? But I could put it on the list.
I see what you're saying. But
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't
like
put them
one
on there.
questions would
Right,
yeah.
yeah. Are there thoughts for other groups or issues with any groups that are up there, or thoughts for any groups that you think should be there?
It looks like a lot to me.
Okay.
Looks good.
Okay. So the next step is that I will reach out to all these groups and sort of give them essentially like a save the date. Not details of what they have to do or how it's gonna, a very general, here's what it's gonna be, here's how it's gonna work. And then later, and then a couple of weeks, maybe send them like, hey, here's what we're hoping you can do at your table, and frame them like, have a question, maybe have some food if you want, or just sort of like some guidance around how to make it the most sort of useful to citizens and inviting to citizens. So I will probably tomorrow now put out a note to all these organizations, inviting them to think about, to set aside October 17th, 10, is it 10 to noon?
Sounds right.
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
to noon, I think, yeah.
So I do have a question.
Yep.
So some of the burning questions that people come here for to our meetings is traffic calming, safety around cars and bikes and pedestrians. The guy that's worried about e-bikes and emotos on the sidewalk. Like, which of these groups would they come to for that question? That, I mean, that seems to be what's on people's minds a lot.
They go to that top group.
The select board,
Yeah,
like we're the traffic calming people and the,
yeah.
When you started talking, what I was thinking about was something we knocked around in the meetings, and I don't know if we just forgot about it or if we decided to take it out, was sort of how do I make things happen in my town? How do I make a petition? How do I get how do I engage? How do I engage? I guess it's really just how do I get a public question on the ballot? As like a table. Which breaks out of this. This is more like an accountability, like you get money from the town, want to know what you're doing. But I'm just gonna add that because we had talked about that
yeah, then public question.
and just see what the committee thinks about that. And I would bet, I think that Gay might be really good at that, at explaining that and being willing to do it, to set up a table. So that's it for that. Other questions at all?
That's
Okay.
good.
My other update was that I sent out that 5%, 10% document. Did I send that out to you guys? Yeah, I did, because you wrote back to me and say, I actually had time and read it. Right then
Oh,
and then.
yes,
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I think we need to somehow say like, yep, this is the language and we're committing to this. Because it is different than what is in that original 2007 document, which when I read it closely, actually, I think is trying to be more restrictive. Because it says, I think what it's a reaction to is the example like abortion. That 5% gets anything on the board, gets anything on the ballot. But if it's not about town business, we're going to demand 10%. That distinction is not relevant. What the distinction that is laid out in there is how we have to talk about it. But I think it's important for us to make a statement, like to put together like I don't know if it's a policy, but a sort of like here's how petitions work in Jericho. And 5% for this, 10% for this, and then there's some other ones that are 15%, which are kind of like at the bottom of that document, like 15% for charter change or for a couple other but not public question things. So I just think we should put that on the agenda, have it in a select board packet, read through it, decide what we're gonna do, edit it and publish it. And then my last update is that I have been talking with Jessica about being not interim, but seasonal assistant town clerk. Because she needs someone basically for the election season. So from now until November 3rd or whatever it is. And I've actually been interested in being the town clerk. I think that's a cool job that I might enjoy. And so I was talking to her about it. I said, oh, well, why don't you try being the assistant now the election day and you can get in there and see how it all works and And so I checked to make sure it's legal for like select board member. I'd be like kind of working for myself. And it is legal. But I want to let you guys know that I was thinking about that. Folks know I was thinking about that, and that's it.
I like the idea of being Peter's boss.
No, you're
I've already asked one. I've actually for like 2 weeks. I've been keep thinking, don't ask her now. I'm like, thinking like, no, she got too much going on.
Yeah, I know, I always feel that way.
But I will need a .gov email because there's something that she signs into that you have to have a town email to get into, some system that I'd have to access.
Do you have any updates?
I don't. I had a comment related to the gentleman who came concerned about the electric
Bikes,
bikes, scooters, whatnot. is that, I just read that South Burlington is considering an ordinance, and I think
Oh, wow.
I'd just like to
Yeah.
keep an eye on what they do.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously modify it
Right.
greatly,
Yeah,
because we're just talking about our sidewalks and
yeah.
what's allowable.
I think we need to do something, but I just don't know what. Like South Burlington's got a police department, right?
Right.
I
At least you could put up a sign down there on the bridge that says you
Yeah,
must walk your e-scooter, e-moto.
yeah. No, I don't want to not do anything just because
Across the
of,
bridge, maybe just certain
just
sections.
because it would be hard to enforce, but
Mhm.
it's just discouraging to think about like,
We've got
Oh,
some
yeah.
bike paths, wide walking paths, but there's certain areas that it's not appropriate to be zooming on an e-bike.
yeah,
And whether people follow the rules or not, at least there's a sign and says you've got to walk
yeah,
your thing across this bridge.
And in a perfect world where kids follow the rules more than they should, like kids are like, oh, okay, I can walk across here.
Yeah.
Like even if 10% of the kids say that, that's 10% of the kids who aren't zipping around like idiots.
yeah.
And then you've got like citizens who say, the sign says you gotta
Right.
walk.
Right.
True.
But the other part of that, yeah, was this in 7 days, you read this?
Can't remember.
The South Burlington police were like, yeah, there isn't much we can do.
Yeah.
Like, they really off and flip us off and ride away. That's what the police said.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'd be totally in support of,
Cut down a little bit on
Yep, yep.
on the news, or the lack of.
and just to make a statement, like, just to say, like, you can't be doing this here, just.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna arrest you, we're gonna give you a ticket, but we're saying you can't do that.
Warrants are done. Approve the meeting minutes.
I printed the meeting minutes out and then didn't read them.
I read them.
I skimmed them, they look fine.
I think Peter was good about making a comment about this before. But I think it's worth calling out that these minutes are very well done. So nice job done. I mean, I read through, so I like, there's like 400 whatever lines here
Yeah.
and like pretty well done.
Yeah.
Anyway. We have a motion. To approve.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 6th, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We need an yes?
Wow.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion, make a motion to adjourn at 8:38 PM.
Laura seconds.
Oh, I second.
Oh, yeah.
Checked out. Good night, everyone.